Hi, my name's Albert Geigel and I'm the Principal of MW Partners, Specialist Dental Accountants. We've got offices in Queensland and Victoria, and we look after the tax and financial affairs for dentists, dental specialists and dental practice owners. In this session, what I'm going to do is look at a 20-point financial health checklist specifically for practice owners. So the first thing to consider is, number one, are we using the best structure? And it's not as simple as, oh, I've always used a company or I've always used a trust. There are different ways of using them and the tax laws are always changing. So it's worthwhile to have that reviewed by your accountant. Are we correct on our tax issues? Our ABN, our GST, our business activity statements? Number three, are all our employment issues correct? Our pay-as-you-go withholding, our superannuation paid correctly through SuperStream, our workers' compensation insurance, covering, if necessary, our contractors as well as our employees. Have we checked our exposure to payroll tax? Now this is one that'll often snap up and bite you if your contracting dentists are also included on your payroll. And this would normally be the case if they're working predominantly for you and they're paid on what's known as the net method. So they're getting 40% after labs or something like that. So something to be reviewed and to keep an eye on. 5 is, are the contractors correctly engaged? Are they being paid properly? Are they under the gross or the net method? If you're unsure of those methods, have a look at my episode on engaging contractors and you'll find the two different methods are clearly explained. 6, are our employment HR practices all compliant? Have we got employment agreements? Are we keeping a record of all our annual leave and long service leave, issuing pay slips, doing all the things that are necessary to be compliant? 7, have our agreements and contracts been reviewed? So service agreements, contractor agreements, employment agreements. If it's more than just us, if we've got an associateship or a partnership, those agreements, and possibly even buy-sell agreements. Number 8, and this is important, do we have a written marketing plan or are we just winging it? We're just going to try and boost our SEO or try and get advertising in, shopper dockets, whatever it is that we're doing. It's necessary to have a written marketing plan. It's not just for you, but it's so that your staff are also aware of what you're doing and that they're capturing where leads are coming from, what's working, what's not working. That's equally important as far as your marketing is concerned. Number 9 is, do we have written goals and targets for the next 1, 3 or 5 years? Again, I'm stressing the written, and you most likely will be a bit like me. New Year's Eve, make that resolution. You don't write it down. Oh, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to, do whatever. But you don't have anything specific. So you don't specifically say, I'm going to the gym 3 days a week. I'm going to cut down on pizza and takeaway food. And having those specific things written down helps you stick to that goal. Otherwise, your mind will actually play some tricks with you and go, well, I'll start to lose some weight, I'll cut out a few things here or there. Doesn't have any meaning. You need something written. You need to stick to it. Number 10, is your bookkeeping timely and accurate? If you're trying to do it all yourself, you should really consider using a professional bookkeeper or a practice manager that is proficient with MYOB or Xero or QuickBooks or something like that. Your time will be better spent in the surgery generating income and have someone who's professional at a bookkeeping service do the bookkeeping for you. At MW Partners, we also provide bookkeeping services for our clients in addition to normal tax and accounting. Number 11 is, do we actually review our figures on a quarterly basis against budget or against last year? So at least we've got some sort of idea on how we're going, and a better idea than, oh, there's money in the bank account, so that's okay, or there's no money in the bank account, you know, what's going wrong. Do we actually use, and this is number 12, do we have budgets or cash flow projections, so that help us guide us forward and to set a target in the future that we can look at. Number 13 is, have we discussed tax planning opportunities with our accountant? This is absolutely something that should be done prior to 30th of June and not on the 30th of June, so that we can plan for what needs to happen before the 30th of June, and also a bit of planning for what should happen next year. In my view, should be 2 tax planning situations that occur, one prior to year end and one when you finalise your financial statements or tax returns, so that you can discuss and understand those figures and look for opportunities where you might consider a self-managed super fund or a bucket company, or changes to the tax law that might affect you. And now, point 14 is, have you reviewed your insurances? So, general insurance, business insurance, your professional indemnity insurance, so that you're protected for any unfortunate events, disastrous events that might actually happen. One of the other insurances, and that's at point 15 on the checklist, is tax audit insurance. This is something we offer to all of our clients. We have an overall policy, so that if the tax office knocks on the door or denies a claim or has an audit or some other issue, you've actually got some insurance that will help pay for legal costs or accounting costs to lodge an objection or to actually fight the tax office. We find that those clients that actually take out tax audit insurance are better prepared and able to take on the tax office, because they don't have to dig into their pocket, and they can at least push their point forward to the tax office. Number 16, are we writing off and depreciating all of your plant and equipment appropriately? You'd be very much aware about the $20,000 asset write-off, so I'm sure most of you will be looking at tax returns and the like, but is the depreciation rates and everything else appropriate? For small businesses, there's something called pooling, where all your assets can go into one and you can achieve a higher overall depreciation rate, get a better tax deduction from that. If you've got a motor vehicle that unfortunately is stuck in a legal entity, then have you got a logbook? Have we reduced the fringe benefits tax exposure as much as possible? And have we complied with those fringe benefits tax issues? At 18, have you reviewed loans? Loans should not be a set and forget. They should be reviewed every few years to make sure there isn't a better financing option for you, given changing circumstances for your practice. Have we reviewed leases? Also something that should be done every couple of years. And at 20, last one, do you have a mentor or a business coach? Now, no football team would take to the field, even with very, very good athletes, without a business coach, because it takes that to get the whole team together. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily need to be a dental specialist business coach, but just someone who can coach you towards running a better business, having a better life, getting you to focus on something in your business, something to consider. Possibly every 1 or 2 years, we're able to provide the names of a number of business coaches that are excellent. Hope that you've found that interesting, that you've got something out of those 20 points. Make sure that you tune in for our next episode, particularly if you're a larger practice owner, because I'll be running through payroll tax issues that may affect you even where you're predominantly using contractors, because they may get caught, not just your employees. And it's not just your employees' wages, their superannuation payments get caught in the payroll tax threshold as well.